Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the PB&J podcast. This is episode 10, Perfect 10. Shout out Ty Dillinger. Today, we're going to be talking about the IWC's awful, terrible, but sometimes great, sometimes accurate hot takes and opinions. The first one we have for you is the statement that John Cena's heel turn does not make sense. So this is something that I've been talking about for a while. I won't shut the fuck up about. As iconic as it was, as viral as it was, as many YouTube views as it got, I really don't think that it made a lot of sense, to be honest with you. First thing I'll start off with. So The Rock offered Cody, to be honest, the offer is very vague. We don't know what the fuck he was offering him, but he offered him something. He was like, align yourself with me, basically. He said no. Final Balls always has a plan. Cena goes with them. Cool. What was going to happen if Cody said yes? If Cody said yes, what was going to happen? Was Cena going to be like, oh, me too, buddy? And then were the three just going to skip out along? Were they going to turn on Travis Scott? Like, it just really doesn't make sense. The Rock has not been there. Why does Cena need to align himself with The Rock? He already has fame. He's already in movies. He already has money. Clearly not enough money to get his bald spot taken care of, but he already has all those things. Why does he need to be with The Rock? That part does not make sense. As cool as it was, it doesn't make sense. Now, before I pass it to you guys, here's what I think could be a better solution to this. The solution to the Cody Cena feud going into WrestleMania as a whole. As cool as the heel turn was, it has not helped the rivalry, it has not helped the storyline going into WrestleMania. Here's what I think should have happened. Cena just wins the chamber, shakes Cody's hand, but every week they just go at each other. Sorry, Cena, you're going to actually have to show up after the Elimination Chamber, not fuck off for 3 weeks, but they go at each other every week doing promos, kind of like Cena and The Rock back in the day going into WrestleMania 28. And then every week just get more and more disrespectful, more and more personal, and just go at each other. And yeah, they can both be faces, but it can kind of be like Cena being very disrespectful out of character for him. More gradual, because what actually happened was very abrupt. He went from like super animated Cena to fuck those kids. Like that was very quick. But if they did it very gradual, each week he gets more and more disrespectful, and then he makes it clear that he's desperate to become the 17-time world champion. Then he goes into WrestleMania against Cody. They have a great match. It looks like he's going to do it, and then Cody beats him. And then Cena just fucking loses it and turns heel at WrestleMania. Like, that would be fucking insane. And that would make more sense, in my opinion, and would add to him being desperate about winning the title this year before he retires. I feel like that would be less viral because Travis Scott won't be busting Cody Rhodes' eardrum, but I feel like that would make more sense. I don't know. What do y'all think, gentlemen?
No, yeah, I like that. I like that idea. It makes like Cena's heel turn. It makes sense, sort of. Like I understand, like throughout all the years, he's gotten booed, he's gotten disrespected, and it's just like all this like balled up, and like he's had enough. But at the same time, and I think it was the first promo he cut as a heel, he was saying like, "I try to do this like one last thing for you guys, do something nice for you guys one more time," and you disrespected me or something like that. But like nobody did. Like everyone was cheering him.
That's my biggest like pet peeve. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling. It's when they pretend that something's happening. No one was disrespecting Cena.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
It would even made more sense if they did what they did back in the day with piping crowd noises. Maybe they piped in like little like, boos. It would make more sense. But like, I hate to cut both of you off. That was legit. My whole point is, I can understand if he came back and they were instantly booing him, but he finally, in quote unquote, got what he wanted. Like he just finally got it. They were behind him. It could make sense if he was like, you don't deserve like he kind of did that, but it was kind of more in the sense of you always hated me even now, which everyone was cheering. People were crying when he like came back. People were crying when he announced his retirement. I just don't think that's true.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of two things. More recent, when Roman Reigns was getting fucking booed every week and people hated him, and the commentary. I remember Booker T would say he's hated, and then Corey Graves would be like, "No, he's polarizing." Like, no, brother, he's hated. Another one was was a long time ago. It was when the crowd was chanting "Let's go Ziggler." And Jerry Lawler on commentary goes, "You hear the crowd? They're saying, 'Let's go, Sheamus.'" That's not what they were saying. That's what reminds me of. No one was disrespecting Cena, and he was like, "Oh, I want to do this nice thing for the fans, and you guys made it about yourselves." Well, if you said you were going to do it for the fans, who the fuck was it supposed to be about?
Yeah.
I mean, it really makes no sense what's happening. It's
yeah.
cool. Cena's a bad guy. Hasn't happened in 20 years. Yeah, that's cool, but it does not make actual sense. And I like my wrestling to make sense.
Yeah, 100%. Next one we have on here is you don't need to wear a mask to do a run in and then slowly peel it off to reveal yourself. Overused trope. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, the just Samoan thing to do in wrestling is just to have a black hood on and a mask and pull it down when you're interfering in a match. Everyone knows who you are before you do that. Like everyone knows it's Solo when he doesn't have shoes on. Like this is before. And then like Drew McIntyre did it recently. Like, dude, like we know like you're this big like nobody it's nobody else. And they continue to do this. It's so annoying. I don't know. It's kind of funny though. Like at the same time, it's not that serious. But...
It's not. It's funny. But like that's my favorite thing when it's like it was like Solo, we know it's you. Like, why are you wearing a hood, dude? Like who else is running into a Roman match?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It just didn't it's like, bro, we know it is you. Or my favorite was I think it was Joe Tuscore's first night in the company when it was Drew McIntyre. He goes, "That's Drew McIntyre in a hoodie."
Yeah.
The worst is when they hit their finisher and they still haven't revealed it. It's just like, no, who else is gonna hit that? Or like when the commentary has to sell it and like, oh, who hit the curb? Like who hit the curb stop? Who is this guy? And it's like the same build, same mannerism, same everything. And like they pull the mask off and they're doing like the "I got you" face. Like it's so bad. Like yeah, I agree with you. It's so overused now.
Yeah, no. The only time they should do that is if it's a new superstar debuting. That's my opinion. Because like I think that'd be cooler. Then you get the reveal of like the new person who's debuting. But moving on from that, the next one is this is a tough one. WWE has been unwatchable since Vince left. Don't get me wrong, Vince is a terrible human being, but the show has gone to complete shit since he left. Like, there's no way you're seriously typing that out. Like, being serious. Like, are you even watching? Like, WWE has literally been on fire for the past 3 years. I don't know what you've been watching, or if you just haven't been watching and you're just like this nostalgic guy that I want to comment this because it's not my era of wrestling anymore, something like that. I don't know, but WWE's been great. Yeah, it's been inconsistent here and there, but that's every wrestling company through every era. It just happens. It's exciting to watch. I get excited for every Raw and SmackDown and every PLE that Triple H produces. So this is just a terrible opinion.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Tell Linda McMahon that her take sucks because that just is an awful opinion. It took you a few seconds to get that one, boss man. But that's just an awful take. Well, first question I have to ask is when are we saying Vince left? Because the first time was July 2022, but he stuck around. Like I think he did, I think he left altogether and Triple H took over, but he did have some say going into WrestleMania 39. Like I know he pushed for Lesnar versus Omos, for example.
He also pushed for Edge to bury Finn Balor. I forgot about that.
That's what I mean. So I feel like he left. Then he came back around that time. But then I think he disappeared sometime in the summer of 23, where he still had to do with like marketing and stuff. And he actually got the UFC their Saudi deal. The UFC doing Saudi Arabia stuff, like that was Vince. But he wasn't involved in creative. And then in January 24, he left altogether because of the allegations. So I don't know what point we're saying he was fully gone, but either way, that's just an awful take.
I think they probably mean once Triple H first got in, but like you said, like he's still like bad saying it. I mean, it might have been Triple H. There's no way Triple H would have done this, but Austin Theory beating Cena. I feel like that was more of a McMahon idea. I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't agree with this at all. I mean, you probably have a better hot take of saying Triple H now or against like Attitude Era McMahon, who's a better booker. Like, I don't think that's close, but like it's still like a debatable question. But no, yeah, Raw, the whole like show, even like the small things like that, they make the entrances at the beginning of the show where it has like a fighter feel. The only thing I don't like about Triple H's booking is when he just breaks the fourth wall with the heels, like saying it on camera. That's kind of a small thing. It's not like a huge thing. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing we say is how many stretches have there been where we haven't watched wrestling for years because McMahon's
Yeah.
booking has been so atrociously bad where you just lose interest.
Yeah.
Like, are we forgetting that he booked the whole mess from like 2018 to 29? Like, do you know what I mean? Like that horrible era.
Yeah.
That was literally him.
We're not seeing anyone get covered in dog food.
Yeah.
Like, we're not seeing like that stupid shit. Like, yeah, no. Trying to think, like, when do we think Vince like just completely like peaked and like just like went downhill and was completely out of touch?
Probably at like mid 2000s because like he still had such a talented mid card and main event scene at the time. I guess I would say like late 2000s, early 2010s, and what probably I don't know. People probably talked about it, but probably what limited him was when they went PG. Like obviously, like you like you can work around it, but like Vince McMahon's ideas, as we know, are sometimes outrageously crazy.
Sometimes.
To be honest, I think them going PG was probably a good thing. It's the stuff Vince probably wanted to do.
Good, but like I think it like the blood or stuff like that. So like you couldn't tell like more of his story if that makes sense. I would still say late 2000s because honestly, some people say like once WCW got bought out because Vince didn't have to try hard enough, but I think it was just Vince kind of just lost touch in the late 2000s. I would say.
Yeah, that great. The next one we have is that John Cena was always a heel. Siding with The Rock was unnecessary. I 100% agree with that. We still didn't get a reason of why he sold out to The Rock or why he had to sell it to The Rock. We were talking about this earlier, Pete. He already has everything. Like, he's a millionaire in Hollywood. He has everything that he needs. He's the greatest WWE superstar of all time. Why do you have to sell out to The Rock? Don't know. Don't know why he hasn't said anything about The Rock yet, and I don't know why The Rock hasn't shown up. Well, I know why The Rock hasn't shown up. It's because he's The Rock. He'll show up when he feels like it. So
Rubik's Cube. That's what he's trying to do.
yeah. So yeah, I agree with this. Like, it didn't have to happen. Like, they could have still did. They seen a heel turn, and The Rock didn't have to be involved. But it's The Rock, so he has to be involved in the biggest storyline. But yeah, I 100% agree with this take.
I disagree with the first part, but then I agree with the second. Where I disagree with Cena was always a heel. I think it was close. Yeah, I think if you said Cena was a tweener, like he never just had one, I would agree with that. But like, there's obviously points like when he came back in his last run, he was definitely not like before he turned heel. He definitely was still a face, and the crowd finally was behind him. And yes, it was very unnecessary. I feel like he could have made it like somewhat make sense. Like if you explain it better and Rock showed up better, but like still it's just like you don't really need it. You're such a legend that you really don't need to be like, well, I want like he still really hasn't explained why he I think we've said this a million times. He's explained why he's turned heel but not spin with the Rock. And if the whole thing is we're gonna find out after Mania, then why the hell did he turn him? Like the whole purpose was to continue the Cody Rock story. So yeah, I disagree with the first part, but the second part was siding with the Rock was unnecessary. I agree with.
Yeah, I don't agree with the first part, but the second part, yeah, I mean, I covered everything, but we still don't have a reason. We don't know why. Just doesn't really make any sense. I agree with the second part. The first part, Cena was always a heel. Don't, no, sir. I don't really get that one.
There's been like moments, but like there's been moments like the 2012 like when he's beating wide and up kind of coming talent, but we've all said,
Yeah.
I don't think it was always a heel, but
Yeah, no.
no, yeah. The next take is probably not a hot take, but I think Io and Tiffany should both retain at Mania. I 100% agree. Tiffany 100%. We don't have to go over that one as much. I think we can all just agree on that one. Io, absolutely. I really enjoy Io as a wrestler and a champion. I think she's a great champion. Maybe it's just biased towards me. I have nothing against Bianca and Rhea. I just think they've held it too much. Bianca, obviously, no one really wants her to win. I mean, there's people, but like even the crowds are kind of booing her. Rhea always just people side with her. But I really think it'd be neat to keep Io's champion, give her a nice little title reign and also just so she doesn't have to lose back-to-back years at Mania. So that would really suck to see. So yeah, this is probably the take I agree with most because this is what I hope happens.
No, yeah, I 100% agree. I hope they both retain at WrestleMania. Not only because I think they deserve to win, but also because you got to think about it. There is so many people like that we're gonna see like be new champions after WrestleMania. Like I think Dom Mysterio is gonna be the new IC champion. I think Jacob Fatu is gonna win the US title. I think Cena is gonna be the WWE champion. I think Jey Uso is gonna be the world champion. Um, like so, I feel like you have to have some people retain on this show. Like Triple H has a kind of a thing where he only has the title switch hands at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. So I want to kind of move away from that. And he has moved away from that recently because you did see Io Sky win the Women's World Championship on Raw, which is something he doesn't do too often. So I do hope they both retain at WrestleMania because like I said at the beginning, I think they both deserve to win. Like Tiffany's your young star. Charlotte's a 14-time champion. She doesn't need this. At this point of her career, she just needs to put over the young talent, and that is Tiffany Stratton. And then for Io Sky, like Io Sky's been a great champion. It's been a short reign, so I would hate to see her reign end so short. But obviously, I could also see Bianca Belair winning. The only way I'm accepting Bianca Belair winning this match is if she turns heel. I don't really care for another babyface Bianca Belair title run. So yeah, I definitely hope Io and Tiffany both retain that WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, I think Tiffany should have retained for sure. Io, I also think should have retained, but at the same time, I think Rhea would be a good option as well. Nothing much to add too much on this one, but
yeah. The next one we have is the Women's Intercontinental and United States titles weren't needed. Just use your mid card and put them in stories that don't involve a belt. I was talking about this before. I think that they should just have one mid card title. I think they needed a mid card title, but I think it should just be one. And I think that they should get rid of the tag titles in the women's division completely because they don't book that good enough, and they just form random tag teams. But yeah, I think it should be one mid card title, so that way you can have it go from brand to brand, SmackDown to Raw, and it would just be utilized way better because you would have more talent to work with for that one title, and then still obviously have your 2 world titles on each show. So that's what I think they should do.
Yeah. I like you said, we talked about it in the last podcast episode we did. I agree. I'm gonna keep it short and pretty much what I said in the other one. I feel like if they were to do it, I would be behind it, but it's only to continue to do it. But the issue is they don't have enough time for everyone, and also they don't have enough female superstars to really get behind anyone or build anyone. It's just a bunch of random tag teams, they need the opponent, YouTube become a tag team, like stuff like that. I like one mid card title, like you said, for them, but tag teams, I don't think it's really needed unless like you decide to either give them their own show or make sure you have enough talent / stories behind them.
yeah, no, I actually agree with this take. I mean, I just hate that there's like this weird thing that like the feuds with the women need to be about a belt. Like they can't just have a rivalry. Like I think that's holding them back, holding the whole division back. For example, like I remember just thinking Jade Cargill versus Charlotte last year before Charlotte got hurt. I'm like, they could try to do that as a feud without any belt being involved. And they're doing it this year with Jade versus Naomi.
That's true, yeah.
You can book the women in feuds that have nothing to do with a belt. Like you can do it. I really don't understand the whole. And it needs to be about the belt. I think the belts are kind of maybe one, but two is kind of crazy. If you're just
Yeah.
not going to book them properly anyway, a belt's not going to solve your issues. More belts are going to create more issues.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. Next one we have is Roman Reigns is a generational industry plant that severely hurt WWE throughout the mid 2010s due to WWE's obsession with making him the guy, and a lot of his tribal chief run is supremely overrated. I agree with half of that. I think that he was definitely overpushed, obviously, in the 2010s, and I think that goes back to what we were saying about Vince booking poorly. Uh, yeah, he pushed a guy who the fans weren't behind as a babyface. They should have made him a heel a lot earlier than he was, because he was talented, and obviously he needed to work on his promo skills. But yeah, he was probably put in the some WrestleMania main events that he shouldn't have been in. But to say his tribal chief era is overrated is crazy, in my opinion. He saved WWE in 2020. If we're being honest, like it was going really downhill because 2018, 2019 were horrible. And then 2020, you're stuck in the Thunderdome with no fans because of COVID. He saved that. Like his heel turn saved the business, if I'm being honest with you. So to say that's overrated is crazy. And then he goes on a crazy run as champion. And then this whole bloodline story, like everyone was invested in that bloodline story, involved with Jay, Jimmy, Sola, just everybody. Like that was the reason like people kept watching WWE throughout 2020 COVID. So to say that's overrated is crazy. So I agree with half that, but
Yeah, I agree with some of it, but not the way they phrased it. Roman Reigns didn't hurt the WWE throughout the mid 2010s. WWE hurt the WWE with how they chose to book Roman Reigns. That's not Roman Reigns was just doing his job.
Yeah.
He was doing his job. WWE wasn't. He was doing what he needed to do, could do to the best of his abilities. It was their job to book him properly. It was their job to turn him heel. They weren't doing their job. He was. So they hurt themselves with how they used him. He should have turned heel earlier than he did, though. At the same time, when he eventually did, it was crazy. But yeah, I think their obsession, which doesn't really exist in the Triple H era now, with the obsession of choosing a person to be the guy and just forcing that sort of philosophy of wrestling, that hurt the WWE, not Roman Reigns himself. Like, which to the point, I understand that way of thinking. Like, a guy that everyone loved, like Daniel Bryan, the reason they didn't, choose him to be the guy instead of Roman Reigns is because in their eyes he's not reliable because he got hurt a lot and he was on the shelf for months at a time. They look at a guy like Roman Reigns as reliable. They look to John Cena as someone who's reliable. So I understand the way of thinking, but at the same time, I'm happy that Triple H has moved away from that.
Yeah, I actually pretty much agree with what Pete said. I feel like it was more of Roman didn't hurt WWE. WWE hurt Roman and the WWE. I mean, it proves also like the philosophy, like you said. I mean, the idea to pick a guy, like you can't blame Roman for that because it happened with Cena, it happened with Hogan, it happened with a bunch of these guys that Vince was like, "You're the guy, no matter what these people think," and that didn't work. I mean, you saw it when you finally put him in position. Like, even if you take out the tribal chief stuff, you put him in the right position, you get things like the Shield, like 2010s. Like, okay, there was probably mid 2010s. I would say there was a few years where like I would never have thought he was a generational industry player. I would just think, wow, WWE's really not listening to us. Like, I never really hated Roman, but like I felt like it was just annoying after a while. If that makes sense. It wasn't really his fault because I always felt bad for the guy. So you can tell he was really trying his best. And the thing and the last part of it saying tribal chief run is overrated. If you said annoying, I would say at times yes, but overrated, no. I mean, everyone knew. I mean, the matches were annoying at the end when it was running after running, but like the stories were amazing. Everyone was invested. But yeah, I think it was more a WWE hurt Roman. It even shows how good of a talent Roman is. He overcame all of that and just became what he is now. So I disagree. If you worded it a different way, I would have agreed. But especially the end, I don't agree with at all.
yeah, 100%. Next one we have is that they're going to have Bianca win at WrestleMania in such a way to generate lots of heat for her. All I know is that turn is coming. We've been talking about this. I think she needs the heel turn, and I think right now WrestleMania is the perfect time to do it, especially if you're gonna put the belt on her. Um, like the fans have been booing her, and she's been right in what she's been saying, and they've been booing her anyway. But the fans are booing her, so why not do it? Right? A lot of the talk before was, oh, you can't turn Bianca heel. She's basically the John Cena of female wrestling in WWE. Well, she's getting booed right now, so why not do it? Um, I think they should. Like, I think that she can have a really nice title run as women's champion as a heel. I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't want another babyface Bianca title run right now. I'd rather see Io retain if that's going to be the case. But if she is going to turn heel, then I'm all for her winning the title at WrestleMania and then going on a rampage this summer and then hopefully feuding with like Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. And then, being revealed as the person behind the attack of Jade.
No, I agree with this. I want Io to win, but like this is what I see mostly happening. What I could really see is I don't know if you guys remember this when Daniel Bryan won the title against AJ that he low blowed him. I think I think it was something like that, and like then everyone he won, but like you could tell it like flipped on him, like it flipped in his head, like this is how he is now. So I do see her kind of if she does winning in this like a weird way. But yeah, I think it's needed. I mean, they're comparing her to John Cena, and look what, like you said, they compared her to John Cena. Look what John Cena's doing now. So, like, I mean, I don't have too much to add 'cause I know we've talked about it, but yeah, I could see this. I feel like it'd be really good. I feel like underrated. Like she'll be. I don't know why. I just feel like she'd be such a great heel. Like I feel like she has what it takes. As much as I think she was a great baby face for as long as she is. It's just you just never know. And some people have it, some people don't. You might as well just want to find out. And I feel like she has what it takes.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it short and sweet, but Bianca winning at WrestleMania, starting a heel run, like I think that would be really, yeah, I would hate it, but at the same time, like in the good way, if that makes sense. Like you're supposed to hate it if it's a heel, so I think it would be the right move.
Yeah. Down to our final two here for this video. The first one being WrestleMania should only be one night, always. It lessens the value of every other pay per view by being two nights. And the second one is that the WrestleMania build this year has not been good. So I partially agree with what you said. I don't agree with that WrestleMania should be one night because it drags if it's one night. If you're gonna put like the amount of matches that they put on the card, if you're gonna put like 10 plus matches on a WrestleMania card, you can't do that in one night. We've seen it. Like the fans in the arena, the stadium, they don't want to see that. They get bored after like three matches. You have to keep it two nights. I think making it two nights was the best thing they ever did. Um, because now you get like 14 matches total at WrestleMania, and you're not going to get bored through one pay-per-view PLE. So I disagree with that. And then saying that it lessens the value of every other pay-per-view by being two nights, it's WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the best pay-per-view PLE of the year, like the biggest one, the most hyped up one. It doesn't lessen the value of other ones. Everyone knows that WrestleMania is supposed to be like literally the biggest PLA. So I don't agree with that either. And now, especially since we're gonna have SummerSlam being two nights as well, it clearly seems like they're heading in the direction of making more PLEs two nights anyway. But to go to the point where he said the build for WrestleMania 41 hasn't been good, I partially agree with this one because it definitely hasn't been as good as last year's WrestleMania build, and we've talked about this. Last year's just felt so magical, and maybe it was because we went and we were there, but every match just felt so important, and the feud was entertaining, and it wasn't drug out, and like it all made sense. Like this year, it's kind of the opposite. Like there's been feuds that have been dragging, then there's feuds that just don't make sense, kind of like LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. So I do agree with this. I definitely think the build could have been better going into WrestleMania. Even with that said, I am still very excited for WrestleMania without a doubt. But yeah, definitely could have been better.
Yeah. The first part, I mean, as much as I want it to be one night, I think like you said, it's a lose-lose because yes, the first night kind of doesn't feel like the main event to some people, but you kind of have to make it two nights because it's gonna be like 15-hour-ish show, probably longer than that. And there's no way someone could sit through that. I mean, we've done it. Everyone's done it, but it's just like it's just a point where it's just like, especially when it was Sunday night and like we would have school and that's like people would have school at work. You're just like, oh, do I really want to stay up this whole time? Do I just watch it tomorrow? Like, I liked it 2 nights. I don't think it lessens the other pay-per-views because, like Brendan said, now a lot of them are going to be rumored. Like SummerSlam's definitely, but then I heard like the big 4 might actually end up being 2 nights eventually. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at the Rumble just so they can add more matches and then one each night. But so I don't think I agree with the first one. I kind of enjoy the 2 nights. It makes you feel like more excited. You're like, oh, this whole weekend I'm gonna be able to like enjoy like this thing I like wrestling. You have 2 nights of it, and so I kind of disagree with the build for Mania. The one versus build for Mania has not been good. I kind of agree. I feel like if you said it, the build has been lackluster, I would agree more to that than instead of bad. Because like the Punk Seth Roman one's interesting. The Cena Cody one was still somewhat interesting. I don't think it sucks or it wasn't good, but I feel like it was a little lackluster just because last year it was so good. So I would have to agree, or I might have to disagree with the second one.
I disagree with the opinion that WrestleMania should only be one night. When it's one night, you get WrestleMania 33, which was like 9 hours, or like you get those super long manias that just drag. Definitely should be 2 nights. I don't think all like the big 4. I don't think the Royal Rumble should ever be 2 nights. Even SummerSlam and Survivor Series, I'm kind of iffy on that one. But WrestleMania, I definitely think should be, because if you're gonna have all those matches, please space it out. Having to sit through all that on one night would be insane. Saying it devalues all the other pay-per-views. Newsflash, buddy, it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania is supposed to be the biggest one of the year. So yes, it's going to devalue them a little bit. It doesn't really devalue them. It just makes WrestleMania even more valuable and important, which it is, because it's the biggest party of the April. It's the biggest party of the year. And what was the other one? The WrestleMania build for this year has been ass. It's not as magical as last year. No one's like, oh my God, I need Cody to win, or oh my God, I need Cena to win. So yeah, that's cool. It's just not as exciting as last year's build, to be honest with you. But
yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, your thoughts. And if you guys want to go check out our TikTok, I'm going to link that in the description. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. See you in the next one.